Back here. Let's go to Facebook. Okay. Definitely don't need that. Man, my face is puffy. Oh. Okay. What's up? Jeez. What's up, Yodi?
Now, can I broadcast these to these? No.
I don't know.
Tricky.
I think you're good.
Everyone can see and hear me. Holy Jesus. Calling upon the name of the Lord over here.
We're broadcasting.
How am I gonna change that sound to my speakerphone?
All channels here. We got my Facebook page, my personal page, my group, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter. What's up, everybody? What's up, Carl? Hey, Carl. Who is that? Oh, it's Tor. What's up, Tor? Sorry, I didn't see your name because it just shows you as Facebook user because you're posting from my group and you have to press the link. So you're out on a walk. One of those days, huh? It's going all right. I have a major head cold and it's annoying me because it's giving me like sneezing fits. And usually I'm not like that. Usually I have a major head cold and I've been sitting here. I probably sneezed like 20 times in the last hour. It's terrible. Needs to go away already. I took some Advil cold and sinus and it didn't do a damn thing. So I think maybe I'll try and dig out and see if I got some other stuff. What's that?
For some reason or another, it keeps on putting the sound specifically through my earpiece, so I gotta charge it up.
Gotcha.
There you go. Oh my goodness, here we go. Yes. This is just breaking the glass, so pretend I'm not doing anything wrong.
Exactly. Yeah, head colds are the worst. I hate them.
Honestly, like with those kind of things, and thank God I live in Colorado. Like I do turn out to the green evil lettuce because it just makes me pass out at night and get as much sleep as I possibly can. Every time I'm sick, I can't sleep, and it lasts longer. That's just the end of that.
Yeah.
Oh man. I had a question of the day for you, but I forgot. Ooh. That's what it was. You remember what's his name? Make Anything. The guy that does the Iron Man suits.
Uh, he's talking about Frankly Built?
Yeah, frankly, Bill. I
Yeah.
always forget that these old things. Anyways, do you know that everybody that reported that other channel got actually that taken down?
I heard, and apparently there's another channel that we got to work on. So the reason why that was possible is because the video that I put out on TikTok, the mobile app, you couldn't report it unless somebody was a celebrity. But on the desktop app, you can report that account as if
Just
it's
replicant the
coming
prank.
from like you or I. So you don't have to be a celebrity. So that's I think what made it work.
Well, now hear me out. And I'm very glad we're not in TikTok now, but hear me out, right? Every time somebody starts making something big, there's a wish.com type company that comes up on Facebook or TikTok, and their comments are never open. You can never comment, you can never like say anything about it, you can never report, and you can
Yep.
only share, right? But he's always after a TikToker, big TikToker has done it, and then the business comes, and when you report it, usually TikTok shuts you down. And I'm wondering how deep does the rabbit trail goes?
Yeah.
If these people know who actually is running the store kind of deal, because when you report a scam on these apps, usually you're like you're bullying, and you're like, wait, what? No, like I'm telling you, somebody's getting robbed over there in the corner with a gun. No, you're bullying. Wait, what? Like, I don't understand. I
Yep.
love it. So my rabbit hole here is my conspiracy theory is like maybe somebody's in on it. Or if you're paying for advertisement, they kinda just go, I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about. Peekaboo
Yep.
kind of deal.
What's up, Teddy? Yeah, it's very strange what goes on with that.
So again, I think like for Facebook to be so bluntly about it,
Yep.
like, hey, you do realize that laser costs like $4,000. There's no way that somebody's selling it for $74 plus shipping. Yeah, you do realize that the cord for that thing costs $74. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're bullying. What? Like, wait, I don't understand. What happened? And then the Mark Zuckerberg wonders why he lost so much money.
Exactly.
Ridiculousness, bro. Hey, so I have an H1 somewhere. Sorry, what was it? Like I have this thing sent to me by Tuan.
What the hell is that?
It's the H1 by Creality, the H or I don't know. They sent it to me. They
Oh,
sent me a new board. I fixed it. It lasted all 6 sprints. It died. They sent me another one. I never started it. I figure I just rip parts, make a new one, and give it away to somebody that wants a resin printer.
gotcha. Man,
Because it's just silly. I'm actually going on a mission trip. I think I'm gonna ask Focus to see if they want to give me a machine to give away, and I'm gonna buy a machine to give away to support the mission trip and whatnot.
there you go.
Yeah, like I honestly believe as a community, which most people are entering now, so like people demanding, like us demanding, hey, the community to start doing more for the world as a community, right? That's gonna be looked upon as gatekeeping, but I'm okay with that one. I really am. When we did that at that contest for Enable, they got a bunch more hands for a bunch of children. I don't care if we're gatekeeping. I'll take that one.
Right.
Simple. Yeah, I went like Yeah, and that's it's kind of weird because again, like we go through these things where people remember that enable is a thing. You know, you can print a hand for a less fortunate child. But here they're discussing how much a dragon should cost. And I'm like, and like when I started, like we couldn't put an Enderman on a bed. And when math started, we were looking at actually trying to change the world. And now you guys are just discussing about how much it sucks when one of all the old school people wants to join the selling party.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing that bugged me about it. Like they can discuss how they treat each other and Etsy and how who's the bigger penis in the whole thing. But to be
Yep.
fair, I mean Joel has done so much community and so much good for his community that to say has like, hey, what are you doing with the money? None of your damn business what Joel Telling is doing with his money. Is that simple.
Exactly.
Like again, that guy has given St. Jude so much money for heaven's sakes. Come on, man. Like, let's get real. Again, the community is just. I just hope that we can get rid of this poison in the community. At least, or if they're gonna be this type of poisonous, that in the background we're doing something for. We're building filters for water in Africa, or giving children's hands because they don't have a hand. Like that would be an acceptable compromise.
Yep.
As much money as you want to make, but make sure that you're putting as much good out to the world because everything that you're doing, you're walking on the shoulders of giants that spend $7,000 to build a rep rap machine.
What's up, Rika?
Yep.
Oh, what is going on with this freaking
What else is going on? Man? Ooh, okay. Man, that blue turns so good. I hate it like me, but that blue turns so good, bro. It is such a pretty color. It is such a pretty color. I made bigger ones of these. You seen this model, right?
Seen what? Oh yeah, yeah. Yep.
Yeah, I don't remember. Like Derek told me the name of the guy, and I always forget the name. You know, too many people. But I am making it bigger, as big as I can. So the surface right here, dude, that blue matches perfect. That's what I want, man. And look, I want. And now I'm just rambling. What I want is I want companies that make resin to behave like companies that make filament in the beginning, because they are in the beginning, right? I don't
Right.
want I don't want the resins to jump $20 in a month.
Agreed.
Just like we don't want to have discussions that if Joel Telling is selling whatever he's selling publicly, I just don't want every time we got this surplus of people coming into the hobby, we had to play this nonsensical game where we all find a happy middle in between compromise and whatever nonsense is that they're bringing in. And I'm not trying to be like gatekeeping. Literally, that would sound like. I'm just saying when Etsy came out, a thing, and like this dragon again, baby. Imagine if you could sell Baby Groot, bro. Imagine if you could have sold Grogu.
Yep.
I mean, that would have been sold because everybody could have printed it right away, one time. He was 100% printable.
Absolutely. Super
And
easy.
that would have been like the amount of fight that would have put this little dragon thing to a shame. So I don't understand. Again, I don't know. I'm just sounding like my old man back on my day. It's only been a decade, so it's not really back on our day.
These damn kids nowadays don't appreciate things.
Hey, these damn tickers, they don't know what they're talking about. Again, it's not like Stephen cannot read the algorithm like a champ. And he's what, 40?
Yeah.
Oh, Lord. Have you talked to Jerry?
I haven't really talked to many people in the last 2 weeks. I've just been busy with work. So
Yeah, how is your. Well, you changed about a year ago, no? Wait.
Oh, not even. So I changed recently to a new job. I work for Canadian Pacific Railway.
Yeah, because I know you work for UPS. Wait, who you work for?
Yeah, so I worked with UPS, then I worked with a company called RJW, and they basically did,
RJW. That's what I thought. Yeah.
yeah, they did exporting for Walmart essentially. Um, so, and I left that. It was too long of a drive. It was like an hour drive every day, two there and then back another hour. So it was 2 hours out of my
Yeah,
day.
yeah, man. Were they paying you for that?
No, no.
No, that's the whole thing, man. If I'm
Yeah,
traveling 2 hours to go do a job a day, you are definitely paying for that.
yeah. And then to top it all off, I have to pay for toll roads. That's $25 a week in tolls. So, and then with gas prices raising, I mean, that was like $70, $80 a week in gas. So, I mean, it was all around a
Hey,
disaster.
say what you will, man, but I can definitely use $1.78 a gallon, even if it comes with bean treats.
That's because you're lucky.
No, I mean seriously, like it is the craziest, insanest thing how fast everything went up on price and how cheaper Chinese things are getting to come into the country again. You remember what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah,
When I got
absolutely.
that laser, man, when I got the laser, the urgency of the vendor to get me the fiber laser here before the election was just weird. Just strange. Like he's like, no, no, you don't understand, man. Like I have to get that there.
Yep.
And I'm like, okay, sure, let's go ahead and get it done. And then I asked him a month later, it's how much the price goes. Like he's gonna $1,200 because of shipping. What?
Yep.
Yes, we have
Yep.
36 lasers sitting on the port of LA.
I remember when that happened, they were all China was basically worried about stuff. So much so, like there was a company, and they're still trying to make it in the community. They're called Maker Pie,
Oh,
and
oh,
I I had one of their reps go off on me about Donald Trump. It was hysterical. Like
oh my word.
they wanted to unalive him type thing, and I was like,
Oh yeah, no.
this is
Well, who
completely
was it? Who was
unprofessional.
it? Was it
I
was
don't
it,
remember, and I don't even have the conversation.
was it Charlie? I think it was Charlie Pan.
It might have been. I don't know.
It might have been Charlie Pan because I remember like all of us in the community were like, "Whoa,
Yeah, and I was
whoa!"
just like, this was like, I want you to try and get us a printer and get it all started. I was in the process of buying one, and then they're like, oh, well, the small one is no longer available, what I paid for already. And they're like, if you want, pay extra $200 and you could get the K5. And I'm like, that's not what we agreed on. You guys said that you had this available. I paid you for it. You should be shipping it. And they're like, oh, well, we can't do that no more. You got to pay for it. I'm like, so you guys hounded me for 3 months to get a printer from you because I usually don't buy printers from manufacturers. I have no idea who they are.
Yeah,
And
no.
finally, I just gave in because I just wanted them to go away. And I bought their smallest printer just for shits and giggles. And then they flip it on me. And then, yeah, then the whole conversation went south because of the whole Trump thing. And I
Oh
was
no,
like,
man.
all right, I'm done.
Dude, be glad that you didn't put any more money. Like they send me these for free even before I started with 3D printing, dude. And oh my word, I mean,
Yep,
it is if you grab every single thing that Creality has done wrong and Tivo did wrong and you slap it together in a machine and you make a proprietary board out of a
yep,
base out of a SAM and try to load some type of buy little like firmware into it, it is basically the worst machine I've ever been sent to review. And I honestly told them literally, like, look, I can send you back the machine if you wish. But if I tell people what you want me to tell, like if you want me to tell what I want to say, you literally will never speak to me. And they're like, oh no, you're good. Okay. So I put it
yep,
live on Facebook.
yep.
Check this out. This is what's wrong. dude, that thing has an end stop, a physical end. You take the hot end out, and you put a physical end stop on it to measure the bed.
What the hell?
The bed, dude. If I bring it, I swear, man, you will. The bed. Okay, think about a magnetic bed. That's their heated bed.
Wow.
That is their thickness. So the moment that you measure anything and you heat it up 10 degrees, it's all off.
It's gonna change, yeah.
It's all off. You do their models because they're like, oh, no, you can print their test models, and it's always in a raft about 4 millimeters thick.
Yep. That's how I always knew like a printer was gonna be garbage right out of the box is when
If you're having to print
somebody's
them
printing out a wrap.
out of the box with PLA.
Like, come on. You guys are professional 3D printer people. Like,
Yeah,
you
and they
should be
came out
using any
swinging,
wrap.
man. Their machines were like $800 trying to compete with Flash Forge.
Yeah. And definitely not. Like, I can see the build quality looked semi okay, but just the parts you can tell were like
Oh no,
basically an
this thing
AMAT.
came with like I don't even know how to explain it. Like the holders that hold the bearings, because it's not. Oh my goodness, it's an H bot done wrong, right? It's an H bot done on the Z direction somehow. I don't even know how to explain it. It's got like 9 type different belts, but the pieces that hold that are made out of acrylic. Like the
Tripod's
old
asking
like the old
which brand
keyboards.
is this? This is
Like the old
Maker Pi.
keyboards, bro.
Yeah.
Like, so the moment they got here, the C axis was snapped off and I had to fix that.
Awesome.
Like right off the bat. Kind of like the whole thing with Joel when they send him that machine. I don't what was it, the IDX to whatever, but like they sent it to him on a crate and yet
Yep.
it came broken. Same thing. This thing came padded in 3 different boxes. It did not have the original box. It was a box inside a box with the original box. And this thing was
Right.
so like I told them and they're like, oh yeah, we can just sell you the parts. And I'm like, dude, you send me this machine to test. Like, I'm not buying your parts. They're like, no, it's okay. Like you can try this and that. Like you can remove. They have me remove the actual ring. I don't even know how to explain. I have to bring it out now. It's the weirdest freaking thing you ever seen, man. It is the it is the dumb, bro. Like I've seen some systems that are just chaotic. They you have to pull out the hot end towards the rears. It is garbage. And that's the whole part that bothers me. Kind of like there's a couple of racing companies that want to charge like $3,000 for an 8.9 machine.
Yep.
And they're like, well, it's all industrial. I don't know what that means because all comes from China. So everything is industrial.
Yep.
So if you're going to charge me $3,000 for a machine that does what a Frozen can do, it better be the size of the damn Frozen.
Yeah.
It's that simple. Hey, check this out.
Oh God, you're breaking things.
I'm sorry.
What
Am I
the
breaking
heck?
down?
Yeah, you're
There you-
breaking up a little bit.
I'm sorry. Am I back?
Yeah.
Try not to walk from the internet. So this is their hot end.
What the hell?
That's how it plugs to the back. That's the only connector right there is just barely touching, so it does thermal runaway all the time. But you see this plastic thing? They're hot. They're what do you call it? Their sensor, which is the end stop. This piece broke, and I couldn't print it because it's actually molded.
Right.
So they asked me to remove it from one to the other every time I wanted to level the bed. Instead of just sending me the little part with the attached end stop, which is like what, $2?
Yep.
So they wanted me to change it from this to that. This is their end. This is their hot end. Again, and you have to remove it while it's hot to the rearwards. So you have to
Right.
grab it like this and move it towards your hand when you get it out. Hot.
That's crazy. Hey,
Explain to me how is this worth $800? Like,
it's not. You were asking about Jerry. He's in chat right now.
oh hey Jerry,
What's up,
we're
buddy?
talking about terrible companies and bad machines that never lasted and will not stay around if we have something to say about it. Because that one was just bad.
Yeah, I kind of knew from the get go. They were like really hard up to try and get somebody in the community to work with them, and I'm like, I've never heard of you guys.
No, yeah,
Like,
like when they're sending them, they're like, "Hey, we decided we're gonna send you a machine." I'm like, "Okay, who?" They're like, "Oh, we're Maker Prime." I'm like, "Okay, sure,
sure,
send it." And he got here, and I'm like, "What do you want me to do with this thing again?" They're like, "Oh, can you review it and put some word for it?" I'm like, "I can review it and tell you what I think because if I review it and say what I think, you may not like the results."
yep,
And that's exactly what it was when I came back, and they're like, "No, no, go ahead and tell the community." Okay, sure, I'll be more than delighted.
absolutely.
Mm.
Don't have to tell me
When are you
twice.
getting into when are you getting into laser?
So I was actually just talking to Tripod about this. I'm trying to work with X Carve or
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Carve. Um,
Carb, yeah.
yeah, so I'm trying to get one of their uh uh whatever it is, the
The diode unit?
fiber lasers. There we go.
Yeah.
Um, I want one of their small desktop fiber lasers like John has, tripod, and I will probably end up getting one very soon. So
Yeah, I know that's again they're actually pretty good. I mean, for what it is, the technology is smarter than most of the stuff that it is. So you're gonna pay. You're getting better quality parts, better, smarter. Period.
so, so
Like,
technically, I have a laser, and I've had a laser for about 2 years now.
uh-huh.
Uh, so right before COVID hit, I was making a deal with X Tool to get me
Ooh, now we're
one of their Glowforge style printers, and they ended up sending it to me. It was like a $6,000 printer. It was their biggest one that they had,
other
and
than right.
they sent it in like 3 different shipments and crates. And my buddy who's in Chicago, he went and picked it up because we had to have it exported to like a warehouse because they
Right.
needed a lift gate. So he had it sent to his buddy's warehouse. It's been sitting in his shop, and I haven't. I've just seen some videos of it working, and I've never seen it in person. So I have a $5,000 laser that's just sitting there, collecting dust basically.
Well, no, as long as somebody's using it, man, that's usually
Exactly.
that's how I see it, man. If somebody sends me a printer and somehow I end up at your house, dude, use the heck out of it. Tell me what you think about it.
Yeah, yeah, and he knows what he's doing with lasers. Like that's not his first rodeo. So
Oh
I was
yeah,
like,
no, my favorite now is again like this is the part that gets me, man. Like all these companies in the United States. I know I'm not bashing. You know me, I like American made, but I am really not bashing. But there's all these companies selling lasers, like fiber lasers and CO2 lasers, and you ask them how much they want, and they're like $1,000, and you go look in line for an eBay one in China, and it's $400, and they tell you, well, it's American made. No,
right,
it's American built. We stopped making electronic parts years ago,
long time ago.
long time ago. So let's be honest. And if you're gonna say as a laser manufacturer, whether fiber or CO2, if you're gonna go saying, well, we are American made or we are made. No, no, no. You gotta remember, there's only 3 sources for fiber and 2 for CO2 companies that makes them, and
Yep.
that's all in China. So why are you charging $15,000 for the same thing that the vendors in China are charging $4,000? Beyond me, right?
Yep.
And so if you're gonna say American build, then that don't mean anything when all the parts come from China.
Yeah.
You gotta be honest. Again, dude, San Antonio Laser, one of those companies that sells those lasers, say $16,000 for the laser, for the fiber laser, and they want $3,000 to teach you how to use the fiber laser. Now, listen, they're using you how to use Inkscape, Adobe Illustrator, which you can learn for free on YouTube in a heartbeat. That is your that is your teaching right there for $3,000. And the laser is always either JPL, sorry, the IPJ, Max Photonics, or Rikos. Those are the only three sources in the world that are making fiber sources. So I get it that you're Toltec and you want to, say I'm Toltec. Right, but this is not the same dragon situation with little Joel telling you're a big company, you make your crap and then sell it to me expensive because it's good.
Yep.
That's why I pay for it. Like again, if I want a electric tool that I know I'm gonna have to replace quick, I buy it from Harbor Freight, not from a Snap-on.
Yeah.
If I want something that's gonna last me, I want to buy it from Snap-on. That's how that works.
Exactly.
Yeah.
What's up, James? How's it going?
What's all Jerry doing? She should hop in. What else?
He's probably sitting in bed like he normally is watching my stream.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm trying just to stay out of the Facebooks as much as I can. I do the monitor, the jobs that I signed up for. But the rest of it, dude, I'm having way more fun with the TikToks because at least you get people to answer.
Yep. I like TikTok. I like the platform.
Yeah, no, I honestly do. Like, I like the idea that people, like, anybody, any day, anybody can answer to anyone. So if you're going to say something silly, anyone can answer. I love that. That's how the square. That's how the like the space, like like the town square at work.
Yep.
You got to be able to respond when they whatever you think. Get in there, Pat. Oh.
You'll jump on
$3. So if I print in little snakes, sorry, dragons, how many dragons can I make with $20? How many dragons does it take to get to the center of the pussy pot? Get out of here, people. This model. You know that I just bought that silver so I can finish this stupid model.
Yeah.
I do that all the time, man. Like, I actually printed it in another color, and I'm like, nope, I don't like it. I'm gonna paint it anyways, but no, I don't like it. Yeah. I have to know that it's all the same color.
Hey, speaking of really, really expensive machines.
Oh my goodness, Badger, what's going on, brother?
How you doing, man?
Talking about paying for crazy amounts of money.
Right, I want to be clear. I didn't pay for this.
No, you know the drill. You know the drill.
Start holding me to a higher standard.
No, if everything that most of us have in those rooms we were paying for, we would be broke and our wives would have left.
God,
absolutely.
Honestly,
and that's what it's to that.
So
I've said to Matt before, my greatest fear is when I die, my wife sells my stuff for how much I told her I paid for it.
Oh, hell,
that's my biggest fear.
That will hurt. If every firearm I have and laser and crap around, like what I told my wife back in the day, now she knows better because she works with me with the lasers. She knows that it wasn't as cheap as I told her. But with the 3D printers, if I tell her how much I pay for the actual resin, she probably wouldn't want me to have business.
Yeah.
Stop running a charity, she would say, and I would be like, whatever.
Exactly. Whatever, man. You used to be cool.
What you're holding probably one of the greatest, bestest, more expensive machines. I'm holding one of the crappiest, most expensive machines. What are the chances of that? How many new boards have come out? I remember when I started, there were Melsies, there were ramps, and there were Melses and there were ramps. That's pretty much it.
That's it.
And now we have like every flavor of board in the new song. I think MKS comes out with a board every month.
Yep.
Jesus,
so saying that though, so
if
the
you
new
lived a little longer, Badger, you would have literally cured the resin with your eyeballs. Don't say I effed up the print.
I'm literally trying to set the network up.
Oh,
So
dude,
like
that kills me, man. Like, how come they give us a board with one axis, but not all of them have connectivity?
oh no, yeah. So actually, with this one, I mean, I'll take off my password, but with this one, so you literally go to network. It brings up the available networks on this side.
I'm drilling. Hold up.
Connect, and then you just have to type your password in.
I gotta clean my drill. Hold up. I literally wanted. I don't know how to do.
Like, don't get me wrong, right? So as I said on the stream last night, it's awesome. You don't have to. There's no setup, so you don't have to calibrate the Z offset. You don't have to level the beds. You just put resin in, and then you go into the program. And providing you're using their resin, you don't even have to change any settings. You just load a thing in, and off you go. But to be fair, that isn't unique to this machine. Really?
Well, no, we have tons of those. You're right, but look at what you're saying. I can grab a box lab and make it do that. Can I grab a box lab and make it a meter across and make it do that?
No. I really want to see. I really wish that we hadn't all. I say we. I didn't do it, but I wish the community hadn't ridiculed the guy who had like the 48-inch 4K screen that he peeled the stuff off of. I mean, so I know it's possible, right? Because Photocentric actually have a 48-inch screen. They also have one that's a 70-inch screen, and I think that that's just perverted at that point. So I don't. I morally agree with them making that.
Oh, here I have your Z motor. At that point, you must go DC. I mean, you couldn't carry that weight.
We took some pictures of their of the Colossus, which is the 70-inch, and it's insane. So for a start, you have to remove the build plate with a forklift.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like,
because it's obviously 70 inches of plate aluminium. I can't even imagine the machining that would have to go into creating a 70-inch piece of aluminium that is
I make it tolerant
to within 25 microns. Like, just that alone is an engineering feat.
Yeah, I mean, I dabble on precision, but that's literally insane.
Do you know what I mean? It's like just having a bed that is that flat, that is also strong enough to have it something constantly pulling on its edges, and there being no flex.
Yeah, no, it has to be the plate. I mean, what is the dimension of the actual plate?
I have to say, I don't know, and they don't advertise it, because I've looked it up before to see if I can get like proper information on how thick it is. It's got to be the one that we saw. I reckon was 25 mil thick.
That's enough to stop a 9, bro. That's enough to stop a round, like literally. That's enough aluminium to stop.
I will point out that it was perforated, so it would make a terrible shield. You'd really be rolling the dice on that.
I know. Again, we were talking about. Like, I mean, listen, I don't know how long you've been doing this, but these is actually one of the kits from Adrian Boyer. Honest to goodness, this is one of the kits from Adrian Boyer back when he put.
That's a little slice of history.
That was $1,000, Badger. Like, that is, and now $1,000 can buy you, like, I don't know, half of Frozen Sonic. The point being, like, the technology in 10 years definitely surpass Moore's law by far. Like we overshot it. If anybody runs that type of calculation on what 3D printing did, we literally tripled Moore's law of curvature in 12 years. I love how we grow. And now, like, we got people printing boats, actual honest to goodness boats on ABS.
Yeah, I saw that. Well, I've seen that now too many times. So I've now seen that boat posted to every group for like the last 6 months. It was impressive what they achieved, but realistically, it's all depends.
If we were together, put all together all the benches, we will have a small flotilla enough to take over any country.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
We have about every single thing. We can make enough cubes to the moon. I guarantee it. Like we have printed enough cubes as a community that we can literally build a Statue of Liberty made out of cubes, like Minecraft style.
I'm not on that network, am I? Oh, balls.
And now we have materials that are stronger than steel, or as strong as steel.
Yeah. So I've got someone who's buying he's buying one of the new 3D Gents machines, but like the industrial machines.
Right.
And he was chatting to their engineers, and they think that Ultim is going to replace Peak as the go-to engineering material.
Right. To be honest, I kind of completely understand it, because if you let's say start with Ultim and you move up. Okay, let's start with nylon bridge, the very base, right? And then we move up. It will be comparison to say PLA, ABS on up, the forgiveness. PI.
Which is weird because Ultim is insanely expensive.
Right, but the point being here is how forgiving the material is, because they're all super expensive.
Yeah. Have you seen any of the materials that are coming out of IGUS?
But PEK is like every other one is a failure, and the price is like $10 more. We're back to ABS, PLA, and PEI is a little more forgiving than any of the other ones. Like PPSU, I think that thing will clog. I mean, with a draft, it will just crystallize. Period.
Hey, were you talking about the photocentric Colossus or Maximus?
The Maximus, I'm pretty sure, is a 48, and the Colossus is this. I can't remember which way round it is.
Maximus is 40. Yeah. Okay.
Maximus is 40. Then it's the Colossus that's 70.
That's 700 by 893 by 510.
So you get the gallon, you get the recipe by the gallon, and you just like.
So and to be fair, photocentric do. I mean, so they obviously they commercially sell like 5-liter versions of these.
Right.
But they have drums. They have this huge curing chamber as well. So when they don't actually make the Colossus anymore because there's just not a market for it, especially not over here. But basically, you take it, you forklift, you take out the build plate, and you drive into your curing chamber, and then you dock the build plate in the curing chamber, and then you come out, and the curing chamber is also an oven. So you can bake and anneal your part at the same time that you're washing it. And inside of that, they then have a warm tank of IPA clean. So and then it literally goes down, cleans the thing, pulls it back out, bakes it, and then cures it all in the thing. It's an astonishing piece of machinery. But it's also such a niche. Like there's like 3 guys in the UK who would have a material use for that. Do you know what I mean?
Right. No,
like
I mean,
Volkswagen's not printing a whole chassis for a car. It's it's like it's such a niche use case.
No, yeah,
that's like 150, 200 grand or something like that.
Like Boeing or Mars, like companies that make plane parts. Like if you want to look at it before you build
Yeah,
it.
but even I mean, so yeah, fair play.
I'm with
But
you.
Boeing, but there's no reason in that instance for Boeing to own that machine. They
Right,
would
like,
just go to somebody who does
of
own
course,
that machine and
right.
be like, "Hey, can you make this part?" And they'd be like, "Yeah, cool, absolutely." It's, I mean, you see, I've seen quite a few times. There's a number of Chinese companies at the moment, and I'm trying to remember what the last one I saw was. I'm sure they were called Maximal or something. Anyway, they had an absolutely giant resin printer. It was huge, and they were printing like you know, the injection molded shopping carts you get at like Walmart and Costco, the plastic ones.
Yeah, the plastic
They
ones.
printed a full size version of that, and I was like, cool, okay. Just to be clear, there's already a super cheap way to make those.
You
So I
know,
don't know why you've made £150,000 like shopping cart. I don't know what that's for.
which
Who asked for
you're
that?
using in Russia? Holy,
Yeah.
are you rich?
So over here, you have to put a pound into the shopping cart, and then you push it in, and it releases the chain.
Right.
So all he had to do was go to Costco, put a pound in the machine, and then just leave, and then just
Walk
take
away
it,
with
and he's got one.
$900 worth of resin.
I don't know who that's for, but yeah. So IGUS in the UK are
Love
doing
them.
some astonishing stuff. So they are. Let me see if I can pull up some of their things, some of their materials.
Dude,
Because
yeah,
some
no,
of their
there's
materials
some
are
boxes
mad.
that they're samplers, man. Their materials are incredible. Like incredible. You've
Here we
seen those,
go.
right?
Right. So
I that puts out the bearings, like the linear ones. Their
yeah,
materials, actually, you can print your own bearings, and as long as you're doing with the tolerance, they're self-healing materials.
yeah. So where is that? There it is. So here we go. So £175 a spool. It will take 170 degrees before it deforms or softens.
Mm-hmm.
Has high wear, a flexile strength of 91. It's flame retardant.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, and like they are doing some absolutely ridiculous materials.
Oh no, yeah, like, and that was the whole thing. That was the whole thing that bugged me. Like, it boggled the mind because when they sent me the samples, I asked them like how much a kilogram, and they're like, it's $112 a kilogram, $110, $116, and I'm just thinking like, Kiner is like 189. And you're getting the same results with cheaper materials. I'm not even going to try to ask you what's in them because I know it's all proprietary because I have no idea how you're lowering the cost of engineering materials to this level. And they are engineering materials.
So it says here it's available as 3D print filament, as bar stock, and as injection molding.
Eigladur. I'm sorry, Eigladur. German for I glide, I guess. I don't know.
Oh no, so Eigladur is the filament. IGUS is the IGUS is
the company. Eigladur is the brand of action.
And it's got a really low friction coefficient. Like it's,
I mean, it's massive. If you haven't tried it, give them a call. They'll send you the sample pack in a most beautiful box too. But they are amazing because they print and that's what I don't understand. Like 170 Celsius. But then you can print it at 245 and they will stick and form. And you're like, how? Like, how?
I'll tell you what, some of their filament has gone right down. Like some of their actual filament is borderline affordable now.
Mm-hmm. No, but that's the whole thing, man. If they go affordable, high temp won't be a thing for a long time unless it's industrial.
Yep.
Yeah.
Because the moment that you can print something at 285 Celsius that has the same spring that PEI, I have no need for a 60 or $100 and $300 end hot end to do those things. I can just print it out of any middle high.
So I'm trying to remember who did it. I think it was Simon Vez, the guy who made the VZ bot.
Mm-hmm.
So the VZ bot, for anybody who's watching who's interested, the VZ bot is a it's kind of a hybrid between a rat rig and a Voron, and he's now done his own custom tool head. It started out as being a Tronxy X5 SA. And it was literally, can I buy the cheapest large machine that I can possibly find? And then what can I do to it?
Make the baddest thing I possibly could.
Yeah, so VZ Bot is doing like 1,000 millimeters a second with about 50,000 acceleration, like it's mad. And then I am sure that he managed to print Peak with the custom tool head that he built, but his hot end is it's a stainless steel sleeve that has a coil wire that goes round the outside, because the speed that he's printing at, his heat zone is like 2 inches. And then he's got a volcano on the end.
Oh yeah, because it's the only way that you could. Well, like, I've been trying to think about that. Like, I've seen people printing with a boron, and I'm like, I got it, but you have more hot in that machine. You always to get 1,000 millimeters, no matter how big the machine, you gotta have more hot in than the machine. Yeah. Always.
Well, one of the mods that he's doing at the moment is a pellet extruder.
That would be the way to go at the speeds, man.
Yeah. And if, don't be wrong, if he's doing 1,000 millimeters a second on a 1 mil nozzle, like Jesus, do you know what I mean? He'll be printing that fast. But he's actually at the moment he prints with like a 0.8.
There was a guy on TikTok that had the little itty bitty one, like the 8, the 1.
Yeah.
And he had it at 1,000 millimeters. And he literally had it sitting on a concrete thing on his table. Yeah. And he literally had to have a concrete thing on top of it so the little thing didn't fly off the damn table.
I think the thing that makes me laugh is people sort of, they go, oh, so what's the point in having 1,000 millimeters a second, because the quality is going to be garbage. And you're like, right, I don't think you understand. The game in 3D printing has changed. The game used to be, can I print quality? And now, pretty much any machine that you buy can print quality now.
Yes, sir.
You can print quality with Ender 3. You'll only do it once, but you can do it. You know, with the Focus, with the artillery Hornets, with the Vipers, with all of them, they'll all print quality. But then when you start moving up, you're now at, once you start getting to Core XYs especially, you're printing at 5 to 6 times the speed and retaining the same quality. Now, you're not doing 1,000 millimeters a second,
but you are doing that is extremely desirable.
You're doing 250. You know, if you're printing 250, you're 4 times faster than a regular Cartesian.
Right.
And the workflow just suddenly, you know, just absolutely triples and gets through. I mean, this thing, when it homes, like it's upsetting the speed that this moves at. It literally, this just goes, whoop.
Yeah.
It's like the Tower of Terror. Like it starts at the top and then it just goes,
So like, okay, my speed settings for the Mega are really, really fast. That thing is double my speed settings on normal settings.
Like,
it literally, like, when you watch it, it just goes down. Like, there is no, okay, I'm going to sit here and wait and wait and wait. No, it just goes. It is insane.
Like like, I am literally biting my nails. I haven't done that in years. Like, my fingers went towards my mouth.
So I will put on. I will put on the thing that was on there.
In the standard settings that he was looking at, it's set at 500 millimeters a minute.
What?
And that's just the normal. Then the pullout force is I'm sorry, it's 1,000 millimeters a minute, and then it's 500 millimeters.
It's gonna crash.
It's not. And here's the other thing: there's no leveling on that. You don't level it. There's no way to level it.
Don't set your Z offset.
It does it
factory.
Well,
you don't do anything.
A little card. Everything is done. Brian filled my card out.
Here, I got in trouble in the big group again because somebody posted something about Forum Labs, right? And they're like, "Well, they don't have any lines." And I'm like, "Look, for $4,000, you shouldn't be getting any lines.
No.
That's all I'm saying, right? It's all I'm saying. And so everybody gave me shit. But again, this is what I'm saying. If this thing, this is what I want. If I want to pay $16,000 for a machine, this is what I want.
Yeah.
I want it to look like it's gonna crash and slow down in a second, like a CNC. I want it to not have level. I don't want to have to do anything to it.
When you buy a £7,000 printer, you get a gold backcover. This is what you should expect once the game changes.
One tool,
right?
that's it.
A highly rubberized kung fu grip, and a gold bar on the bottom. That's what you should expect from once you start to get into real printers.
But that was my point. That's what I'm trying to say. If you're gonna call yourself like the leader of the industry, that carries a lot of weight. And Forum Lab always had that chip on their shoulder that they're the boss. And here's my sample right here.
Yeah.
I know.
So don't get me wrong, right? So I mean, this is the thing that it did last night. So this is the print test that it did last night. And I'm not going to be able to get that to focus. Hold on. All right, let's see.
He did. Yeah. Oh, that's beautiful.
So, and I want to be clear that this isn't messing about with settings. This is everything stock. This is literally, I poured the resin in. I selected this resin from the slicer. I put it in and I started printing. Once it took me longer to get it out of the box than it did to start a print.
Wow. That's what I'm talking about. Like that's exactly that's it. Like I will scream your names from the top without having to have your machine if I know that the trusted people that I know can tell me this kind of stuff.
Yep.
So the other thing with this as well is this comes
$7,000 machine sitting behind me for me to know that your machine is good because the trusted people that I trust tell me your machine can do some crap that I can't do out of anything shit that I've been sent before.
The thing with this, and it's the same when you're buying something more like a raise or something like that, right? You are buying into an ecosystem. So you can use third-party resin, to be clear. This isn't proprietary or anything like that.
Right.
It outputs in a CWS format, which you can output from Chitubox. You don't even have to use their slicer if you don't want to, which I did not realize because I would have expected them to have been like, yeah, you need to use it though.
Yeah, no.
What is interesting?
The whole thing sounds proprietary, but it's not. Like
it feels that way. But so there's it's a pie in it, and obviously custom firmware and all that sort of stuff. But what's interesting is if you want to buy their slicer, it's £150, and that's a perpetual license. It's £160 if you want to buy Chitubox Pro, and that's for 1 year. So their slicer is cheaper than Chitubox Pro, and I'm pretty sure it's cheaper than Lychee as well, even though Lychee's got like 9 different brands now, or 9 different brackets. You can go from a poor person all the way up to Elon Musk level. You know, it's like, you know, you can pick your tier.
What does this one do? Shows your name on the print. What?
Yeah, it's just So I mean, the main things with this are, if you want to, there's a support wrapper. So if you're struggling with a particular print, you can send that model to Photocentric. They will support it and they will slice it for you, and then they'll send it back and you can then stick it straight on your machine. Again, a tool for a job, because the job this is really for, this used to be the LC Dental.
Right.
So this was originally, which is why the Z is like only 220 millimeters, because no one's
because it wasn't necessary to be anything. It was just rows and rows of the same crap.
Rows and rows of the same things. There is a setting in the slicer that says you can nest 3D prints in 2D, and I don't know what that means, but that implies it's like an SLS machine where you stack shit.
That's actually what it implies.
That's what it implies. I don't know that it's doing that.
No, he can. Like, can apparently can do it. I guess. But that. Okay, so
Wait,
But
so,
again, it's stuff like
so
that. That's just
nesting should be able to stack. That's
so
what that should
in
be.
theory.
you know how Jesse printed that dragon, and he
Yeah,
printed it
yeah, yeah.
super long, and it's kind of like in different layers. If you imagine back in the day, okay, remember when the pandemic we were trying to print stack of crap like one after
Yeah,
another
yeah,
without
Yeah,
having
yeah.
to like do support crazy nonsense. It was just kind of
yeah.
that's what it is. It's basically a machine that can do things like
So the full build volume to print the full Z is 26 hours.
and
So
that
to,
will be
if you stacked from bottom to top 26 hours. That's
okay.
how long it would take to finish.
Right here, Matt. Right here's my point. Badger can overload the entire Etsy resin thing with dragons on one day.
Yep.
Well, you say that, but the amount of resin I could put in this tank would
Right.
bankrupt
No,
me. I'd have to live in the box that this printer came in. It's
right. That will be the point. My point is that you put your 5 liters, and all of a sudden you have 30 identical, beautiful resin dragons to be sent out to the world, and the only amount, let's say, you paid $1 per dragon plus cost of shipping. You just ruin Etsy's everybody's day just by having one good machine.
yeah.
Yep.
It
It's
doesn't. You
and don't
didn't
get me
need to
wrong.
have a
I mean,
car.
the main thing. I say the main thing. The slight limitation, and I don't even know if you can really call it that, is that this is a 4K monochrome screen, and obviously something like the Mega is an 8K. The
Right.
level of quality that you'd probably see between the two, I don't know whether or not you'd actually be able to say, oh, if you had them side by side, then I'm sure you could be like, oh yeah, okay, fair enough, I can see. But like, I don't know.
I don't.
4K is an awful
Gotta be
lot of
honest.
pixels
I
in
gotta
that small
be completely
space.
honest. I think at 4K, the eye loses enough resolution where if you're like, I can see better this 0.01 millimeter, 0.001 millimeter layer, this one from this one. Then you're a freaking
It does
microscope,
come,
homie.
it does come down as well to where the sweet spot is, right? Because
Right.
don't get
That's
me
how it
wrong,
doesn't
I can
matter.
get more miles to the gallon if I put premium gas in my car. But is the extra premium actually worth it for the amount of extra miles that I get? And the premium gas over here, I mean, again, it's probably a bad analogy, but like premium gas here is super expensive, and it absolutely you get like 1 or 2 extra miles out of
That's it.
doing it. So what's the point? Because the answer they go, oh, it's better for your car, and I go, I don't care about
Look
my
at that,
car.
man.
My car is my car's problem. Like Papa John's doesn't go to me, oh, well, we're putting really high quality stuff on our pizzas so you don't get diabetes. I'm like, diabetes is my problem. Give me the tasty stuff.
Right.
3D Mechanic says, "What's cheaper, filling a car or the resin for that printer?"
Do you know what? Filling this. So if I wanted 2.5 liters of their resin, that would be about £125, and it currently costs me £130 to fill my. I've got a Nissan X-Trail.
Right. So and you cannot fill your car
Fill
with
the
2
tank.
gallons. So
Yep.
So actually, by £5, it's cheaper to do this. It is harder to ride this to the shops. I will point that out. It doesn't fit anywhere near as much shopping in it. But
yeah,
but
but
maybe
you
I'll
also
just
do
print
a lot
like a little
of-
shopping cart in multiple sections.
everybody will give you bad looks. Look at that guy on the fancy printer. I gotta go
But
pee.
yeah,
So,
hey, don't get me wrong. It's
cat
a
in.
great machine. I'm looking forward to what we can do with it. So Mike was saying last night he knows what I've got to print with it. I am going to print the Jules Verne train from Back to the Future, one that flies.
There you go.
And the reason why I was waiting for a resin machine, obviously, was because it's a train and it's all meant to look like sheet metal. It has to be smooth and it has to look good. Otherwise, there's no point. So yeah, it's going to be That's going to be a lot, especially as I've got all this resin, but all of these are different resins.
Right.
So I actually don't have enough of a resin to do what I need to do.
Right.
So I will have to buy more resin for sure. And I'll probably end up buying some more of the dental stuff that it came with, that Wyatt. So what have you got on at the moment anyway?
James, I got a question for you, and you're going to have to forgive my ignorance.
That's right.
So if you buy a house in the UK, you only own the house, right?
What? As in you don't own the land?
The land itself is owned by someone else, correct?
No, that's if you were leasing. So, sorry, that's if you what's it called? Yeah, there are some leases that where you buy the house but someone else owns the land, but it's actually pretty rare.
Okay, so my question here would be: if the Queen wanted your land, does she own the land?
So the Queen can't, but the government can force majeure. So they can. So the government. So let's say hypothetically, the government said, "Oh, we want to build a new airport."
Expropriation, right?
They can compulsory purchase your property, and they can purchase it for 70% of its market value.
Wow.
Oh heck no! You see that was I was thinking about the whole day for some reason or another. It just popped in my head. I'm like, so if there's lords and ladies, and it's still like there's the queens, and like who owns the actual land? So if I buy a plot of land, if I buy 20 acres of land,
no. So you would own the land. Yeah, you would own the land. That
was,
okay.
But I never thought about
it. The sort of the it's very rare that force majeure ever comes in, and that's because the government doesn't actually build any of our civic infrastructure projects. They hire a third-party contractor to do it, and as a result, the third-party contractor cannot exert force majeure, so they can't compulsory purchase your land. Right. So only the government can compulsory purchase it, but that means the government has to run the project, which means they'd have to pay for it, and they won't do that. So so there's quite a few examples where so for example, if they want to build a new housing estate here, first there is a minimum amount of houses that the developer has to give to social housing, and they get nothing for those. So it's normally 10% of the overall
the same kind of housing, right?
Yeah, everybody. So that'll be homes they basically have to give to the government. They aren't allowed to keep all those houses in one area. They have to spread them out across the estate, and they don't have a choice about that. If they go over a certain amount, they have to build infrastructure. So they have to build schools and doctor surgeries and that kind of stuff, and they have to pay for all of that. And as a result, it actually means that when someone builds a large estate here, they have to build a very large estate, because anything else, there actually isn't that much profit in the houses that they build and manufacture.
So when you decide to build a large estate, because you know it's going to come with that school, it's going to have to go to school, all these other things. So you're basically making money from all of it instead of just making from the housing market.
Again, the school is owned by the state, so they build the school and they get nothing from it. They build the doctor's surgery, they get nothing from it.
I like that. See, I like that. That makes.
I mean, don't be wrong. There are a number of instances where a parcel of land has been bought up, but it's like multiple parcels that they're trying to put together to build it, and there's one person who's like, "Yeah, I don't feel like moving," and they're like, "Oh, well, we need you to move. We'll offer you like double what your house's value is," and they're like, "Nah, I'm all right." And then 10 years later, the housing estate is built with all these new houses all around, and there's just one knob who's sitting in the middle. It's just like, and then like their parcel of land works out that you could build like 30 houses on it, and they're like, "Oh yeah, your parcel of land is worth like 2 million," and they're like, "Okay, now maybe I'll sell it then."
No, yeah,
actually a very famous one when they built a motorway, and I can't remember which motorway it is. I think it was the M3, but there's a house that's literally in the middle of the motorway because they refused to sell their home and they had to build the motorway around the house.
Yes.
Just every day, just one guy sitting out the window, just looking all smug, just like, yeah, screw you guys.
Yeah. Like, did you realize that you're going to be selling an 8 million pounds, right?
Yeah.
But instead, I'm sending a middle finger to the government. It's worth every dime.
Yeah.
That is,
Yeah, so that's what
I thank you. Like, that is awesome. Like,
Yeah,
there's
we have
differences.
something like that too, where they're building a highway or some new structure. They go in and they offer the people X amount of money for their house, and unfortunately, with that, people don't have the right to really say no.
Right, especially
they tiptoe around that and end up basically getting the house anyway. So.
No, but like the reason I brought this point up is like, again, like we are all in different places, and again, I'm from Mexico. If the government wants your land, they'll send somebody like me with a gun to go get your land, and it's all perfectly legal because my uniform says the defense secretary. That's simple as that, right? If I'm from the government, I can come and take you out. When I was in the military in Mexico and I was young, the thing was going on with Chiapas, which was a state that the people were actually revolting against the Mexican government because the Mexican government wanted their land, and they say, well, here you go. And so they went as far as literally getting in fights with the government with firefights, and it became a revolutionary movement. So it always stranges to me, like how different governments work. Because again, in my country, you don't literally talk about the government because you go away. Yeah, you go away.
So I think the only time I've heard of anything sort of genuinely nefarious happening, and again, I mean, you don't hear about 90% of the stuff that happens, but the only
right,
time
like
I've
most of the various stuff is stays conspiracy until it is real.
So there was an instance where a bunch of people banded together and they basically said, yeah, we're not selling, we don't want development anyway. The developer originally said, we will not only buy your house, but we will give you one of the new built houses once they're built. And they were like, yeah, no, thank you, I don't want that. And in the end, the development company bought the mortgages that those people had from the bank, and then forced everybody into foreclosure.
Literally nefarious. That is nefarious.
I was like, yeah, that's a little dark, like that. You know, it was then and.
Yeah, but
in the end, the government did intervene and said, like, yeah, you super can't do that. And they were like, oh, no, actually, legally we can. And they was like, look, if just what's legal is your benchmark for what's morally okay, you're an awful person. And they went, yeah, but we'll be super rich afterwards. So
no, but if that was the case, the city of New York wouldn't exist.
Yeah.
That
so
was
anyway, that's the only time I can think of where it's like where it got like.
Yeah, I mean, like that's New York City daily. Like somebody buys a building and makes everybody like cuts out the water or like very sneaky.
Yeah.
So that's a daily thing here in the United States. So I'm glad that you live in a. We joke about each other's cultures all the time because I think that's the pastime. I hate that it's going away more and more. That we joke about each other because that's how we found common ground. When we joke about each other's flaws, we found what we are alike about. That's it, right? So I also find it's strange how we peek over like the colonial worlds, people that had colonialism, and now they're like one of the most civilized cultures. Like, don't get me wrong, I know you guys have trouble like anybody else because violence is a thing, but I am sure that it's not as bad as where we have here, and it's definitely not as bad as where I come from.
Yeah, I think I don't think the violence is as bad. I think the
No, like
sinister
violence for sure not as
probably
bad.
were.
I promise you that. Like the United States might have.
I feel like it's different though. So like, I mean, so if you're in a place where the government can just come in and take whatever they want, at least that's the status quo that everyone expects. Do you know what I mean? They're like, okay, well that's the name of the game and that's how it is. I think it's worse when it's like super sinister stuff where they creep up in the background and you wake up in the morning and the government's next to you in bed and they're just like, oh yeah, we live here now, sorry about
Good
this.
morning.
And it's just, you know what I mean, it's just like it's when it's the same process, but
Right.
I can half respect somebody who stops me in the street, puts a gun to my head and says, give me all of the money that you have. And I can go, okay, well, I know the game here. This is my money or my life. And, you know,
Yeah,
you're taking a risk.
there is an either
I'm
or.
taking, whatever. And it then becomes, but the people who like sit in their mum's basement and they steal my money without ever having even met me, I'm like, oh, you're a douche. Like, at least have the decency to look me in the eye whilst you rob me. Do you know what I mean?
No, I'm with you. No, but that's like the interesting part. For example, you're right. Like as a nation, for example, Mexico, when the cartels, for example, when Chapo Guzman got caught, everybody's like, so what? Like the guy is gonna live in prison like a king. So it really doesn't matter where he's at. You know what's up. When they deported, when they extradited his dad, and they went to get the son, and all of a sudden half of Sinaloa was on fire. Like I mean, like the federal government of my country lost control. That's when the nefarious things went away. Like we realized that, oh wait, we just were giving you power because we thought you had the power, but a bunch of guys in a random town can like kick you out with guns, and you won't do anything about it. Like you literally will come in national television and be like, we don't want any violence. You're the federal government. I don't know what happened to you because for the last 80 years, you rule with an iron fist. Like, communist style. Like, nobody would say anything bad about the government because you disappear. I guess, again, there's corruption. Like, cities like Detroit or Chicago, like, they have more murders in a weekend than the entire United States as a nation.
Yeah, but in Detroit, it's just a mercy killing if you live in Detroit, isn't it? Because there's nothing else to do there.
Ain't it? Like literally, isn't it? Like
just so. And most people in Detroit are just waiting to die anyway. I think they're just sort of waking up and oh, another day, right? Fine.
So this is the part that gets me. Like, how do we get back to like, it's all fun and games, and listen, like, the government is who we have to worry about, not each other.
Yep.
That's it. Like, the people that we put in charge because they think they can guide us. If you think you can guide a nation, you're a psychopath.
Yeah.
Because you believe that you know better than everyone else in your country.
I think what we should do is, like jury duty, every like 4 years, somebody is nominated from the general population, and you've now got to run the country. And like Friday you were a plasterer, and on Monday you're the Secretary of Education. I think that's the best way, because then you get the people in power who have absolutely no interest in perpetuating their own power. They just don't want to look like an idiot whilst they're doing whatever they're doing
it. Yes.
And everybody at least admits that they're woefully underqualified, that someone who's had a private education that's cost £200,000 doesn't necessarily understand the challenges that are approaching somebody who's lived in poverty for their entire life. Somebody who goes, oh, maybe it would be a good idea if we fed all the kids healthy food. And someone goes, but we can get tater tots for 10 cents. And it's like, okay, well, that doesn't really feel like a particularly good idea. Like, it feels like these kids are already getting bad food when they're at home, but they're only 10 cents. And we can get something that we can legally call chicken. So we're going to get that. And it's like, oh, come on, man. And it's like...
No, that's the whole thing, man. Like, for example, with the whole political scene here, when I came to the country, it always was my idea that it's so funny that Americans can be either or, because, again, I came from a place that you end up in a barrel in the desert. So you don't complain about the government. If the government doesn't look at you, you're good.
Yeah. You're like,
You're
well, they
good.
didn't kill me today, so this is a win.
That's it. Like they're
You're
far
like,
away from
Jesus, you've
you,
got a
far away
low
from
bar.
we're good. That's the kind of government I want.
But
So
I think that's the best way. I think the best way is don't bring anybody in who's looking to perpetuate their own power. So instead, just literally somebody gets picked, and that person is probably more qualified than the person who's very good at saying speeches. So why not? It can't
seriously,
be any worse than what we've got now.
I am hearing Monty Python. I am hearing the Holy Grail. I am the king of the British. He's like, we don't have a king. We select someone over the people every week. That's it. That's it. Like everybody gets the same respect because the next day they might be the boss.
Yeah.
I don't. Again, like that always occurred to me. Like every time since I learned the word sociopath, that occurred to me that everybody that wants to lead the nation, saying that I know best to lead you, must be a sociopath.
Yeah. And it
You
wouldn't.
know more than 324 million people. Wow. Man, I'm looking at that thing with so much. I'm serious. I'm trying to get off camera to stop the drooling, dude. Like I am wet over here. Dude. That thing is.
What's up, Vincent? How's it going, man? What's up, Ray? Yeah, that thing is insanely fast.
Now imagine an entire like farm of those things, just endlessly.
Well, you don't have to imagine it. Photocentric's got one, so they've actually got. Their farm is the Magnus.
The containers where you make beer. You know, that's like the big containers that they make beer on, just full of resin, with little tubes just fitting every machine endlessly.
So Photocentric actually have a farm of the Magnus. The Magnus are daylight resin printers rather than sort of normal UV.
Right.
And what was really interesting about them is they had them running for the whole time during the pandemic. So they ran them, because they were printing face shields.
Right.
They printed over 250,000 face shields.
So
They
I
had
was
them running 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And in a year, they did not replace a single screen.
Okay, so now we have a new contender where we can say the leader in the industry, at least when it comes down to small end manufacturing.
Yep.
Yes.
I would say this is a better buy than the Formlabs printers.
No, well, no, that's a mile out. Like this is $7,000. I can buy two Form 3 for the price and never get the results that James is getting out of one.
Yep.
So we already surpassed that. That's what I'm saying. When Frozen put the 8K, like
you'd have to get the full.
They cannot move everybody a notch back. So
but the thing is, if you wanted to get this, this build quality, if you wanted to get this build volume is the 3L, and the 3L, what was it, Matt? The 3L is like 12
11,000.
11,000, and this is 7. So, and it's a bigger build volume, and it's a better screen. The screen lasts longer. You get a service wrapper. You don't have to use proprietary resins. You don't have to use a proprietary slicer. You get a really cool gold-plated spatula. Like there's a lot of
I love the gold-plated spatula. That is just it.
So here's how impressive they are to the community. One of the most influential people in the community invests in this company to make his resin. Can you take a guess at who that is?
Yep.
Oh, sorry, yeah.
Wait, so just as a while they getting the resin from, like straight up?
I guess they make some of it. I don't know if they make all of it.
To be clear, it's on their website as a resin you can buy. So the blue transparent, no. Is it? Yeah, I think it's the
It's
blue
probably the
transparent
tough
and the orange
resin.
tough.
Yeah. So like the higher end resins, the resins
But
that are
Yeah.
man,
gonna
we have seen tons of companies come and go like these, like, and I'm not trying to be bad, like bad mad Moab. They still floating, but like they own Siraja. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So one of these companies, like that's the whole thing. Some of these companies, when a Lego put the Mars, I said it, like this is one of the best machines I ever seen by a
Mm.
company that doesn't make 3D printers.
I
Everybody's like,
think it'll
oh,
actually. I mean, so on that, I think it'll be really interesting to see how Anchor does. When with Anchor's new machine, I think that will be really interesting, and I think actually they're going to really upset a lot of 3D printer manufacturers.
Yeah.
Because they've come into the space, they aren't a 3D printer manufacturer, and yet what they have on that Kickstarter, I want to be clear, we're not getting one. We haven't backed it. I'm not
oh no,
advocating that
like
anybody back Kickstarter. I think it's an abysmal idea, but what they are touting on Kickstarter at the moment looks to be a industry defining machine with filament jam detection. It's got Octoprint, or it's got Wi-Fi plugins out of the box. It's got it can detect when you've got a clog or spaghetti. It can it is the whole package. The big issue I have is how maintainable that is, like access to all the parts, because the Z-axis in it they're completely, everything's enclosed. So I don't see how you do maintenance on that.
that's the part that always scares me when these companies come out and be like, I'm gonna put a machine out.
Yeah.
You remember when on Creale, like, listen, and again, it's one of the only things I can say a hold against Joel is when like he kind of was the forgiving stone for Creality to try to cheat us out of having to fucking obey ALG, like literally, like to obey law,
Yeah.
because they were using firmware and they knew you cannot make machines for 2 years and be like, oh, we did not we did not know it was Marlin. Well, seriously, like you make machines. It's not like you cannot just pull out a compile and be like, this looks oddly familiar, because when they did, most of us like looked at the code and be like, this source code so very familiar. That's it. And so you can have it both ways. You can be, I'm open source, but I'm gonna hide the code. Just the same,
Yeah.
you cannot come into an open source community, which it took us what? What were we talking about, Matt? In 1986, what we were saying earlier?
Yep.
Okay, so
Yep.
1986, it took us literally nearly 30 years to get to where a company like FlashForge is like, you know what? I need to open a different company because open source is the way that we are going to go, whether we like it or not. So have companies again that come out with these cool features. They're like, look at this awesome thing. The first thing I want to be like, look, awesome. Show me the source code. If you are gonna be like, I'm proprietary, you need to don't tell me that you're gonna make me back your project. If you're gonna be proprietary, then you should back your own project.
Absolutely.
Because that's called
Me and Matt were saying this the other day. All that you're telling me, if you've put your product on Kickstarter, all you're telling me is that I believe so little in this product that I am not willing to risk my capital. But the good news is I will risk yours.
Yeah, no, the good news is I will definitely risk yours.
It's that
Because
you guys
we
can
have a
take all the risk,
that will do
not
it.
me. I'm not taking any of the risk. You guys can take all of the risk.
Imagine if Prusa went out and told us that he was going to make a Kickstarter.
Oh God.
Do you know what? Do you know what's more annoying? Is I guarantee you there will be so many people that would back it, he'd break the platform.
Oh no, we will back it up so hard in a minute. But the first question everybody would ask be like, are you falling on hard times?
Why do you need to do this?
Why
Why is this a thing that
why
needs to happen?
one of the shoulders that we stand on? Why are you doing this? So
Yeah.
for them to call themselves like one of the leading companies for the longest time to put any type of like for GoFundMe, you're like, wait a minute. So if you're gonna be GoFundMe, I'm still saying it must be open source because I'm paying for the tab.
So I don't know what I have to say. I don't know whether or not I very much doubt Anchor is open source. I have no
I'm
idea
pretty sure
whether or
they're
not
not.
they're
Like, that's what I'm
using.
saying. Like the speeds are getting like all the shit that they're claiming, like they can't possibly be to make a profit.
Well,
But
because
like,
they've got so much stuff in it. So I mean, like like their plugin looks like it's well, I mean, it's supposed to be basically Spaghetti Detective, but it isn't Spaghetti Detective. So that means they can't be using Octoprint. So however they're getting, I would imagine they've probably got a Pi at the heart of it, or something along the lines of a Pi. Maybe not a Raspberry, but they may be using like a Mango OS or something like that.
I wonder if
But
they're
they've got
using
to
the new Big Tree tech board.
what, the Pad 5?
Is that the new one? The one with the CM4?
Yeah, so the Pad 5's the one that CM4 plugs into.
I wonder if it's that.
They've got the Pico, which I think has GPIO header plugins for it.
I
So
was
you can
about
mount
to say
it directly to it. I think. I'm pretty sure they do anyway. I need to try and get this as clean as possible because my next thing is I want to try and print with their crystal clear. I do not want anything polluting that resin.
Which one from Monocure?
So
Or from them? From Photocentric?
So they do two. They do the crystal clear, which is clear, and they do polyglass, which has like a blue hue to it, makes it look like glass.
That's what I've seen.
So the one that we've got is the clear, and I just really want to see. We've got some windshields that we need to print for a model car, and I really want to see whether or not it's going to be capable of producing them. And like,
you hear yourself, right? Printing windshields clear for a model car at your house.
Like we've tried. So when we did the war rig, we bought like plastic packaging and we cut it to size. So we printed the windshield in FDM, used that as a template, and then we used thin acetate sheet to try and cut it to the right size. And it worked, but it didn't. So it just didn't. It wasn't cut clean enough. It wasn't good enough in my eyes. So I'm hoping that this will. That's a lot of screws on the back of this. Just as an FYI.
Oh yeah, I was about to say, man, how long does it take you to do that? Like 9 days?
It's gonna take a while to change that FEP if I ever need to.
Hey, honey, I'll be gone for a few days. Where are you going? What are you doing? I'm going to the basement. I just gotta listen.
I'm just gonna go and change my FEP. Oh, okay. Kiss the children goodbye.
Kiss the cinders. I brought the milk. Come back with a beard.
I've seen things, man.
I've seen some stuff. No, that's awesome. Like that's again, like we went in 10 years from metal rods and plastic printed parts to industrial type machines at home. That went from $900 to $120, $130, $140.
Yeah.
What's up, Vincent?
Hey, Vincent.
What's up, Vincent?
Good morning, guys. Good morning.
Well,
so I think that's one of the. I mean, so for all the flaws of Creality, and there are many, you cannot deny that the Ender series and the CR brought the price of printers down to a point where this hobby was able to became accessible. Now, you can say that they brought the quality down to a level that everybody was willing to accept. And
no, wait. That was a net. I gotta say, that was a net. Let's brought down the printing price to where the quality really didn't matter, and they knew that American ingenuity was going to put it somewhere to 187.
Can you imagine if Creality hadn't come into the space?
Correct.
And the people who were trying to push 3D printing forwards was ANET.
Oh my god, no.
And everyone just went, oh yeah, this will super burn your house down.
Like you will have to have insurance to have a 3D printer.
Do you know what I mean? It's that you cannot argue with the fact that Creality, whatever you think of them, pushed us forwards as a community, and they may not have necessarily always done it in the right way. They may not have engaged with us in the right way. They may not have always done the right things, but they are now a part of 3D printing.
Right. Now, the community
in a way that other people just won't be.
That is correct. That is right. And I don't know if you remember how long again when Prusa made the i3. That was again game changer.
Yeah.
But there was a parallel team on the rep team. Remember, there was three versions of it. Was the reworks, the box, and the plate. Those were the three Prusas that were available right from the i3. And there was a parallel team in Czechoslovakia running what they called the Rebel 2 because they didn't want to be part of the rep project. And this is where all the 3030 machines were born at. And then Creality figured, hey, we can make this into a kit with anybody could make it. At the same time, Tibo was attempting something similar, and all of the little companies were doing the same. But Creality said themselves, because of the size of the machine, Prusa would never been able to make a metal plate that big for a 5mm plate. The fixing didn't match. So whether you want, I don't like them. I love their machines. Again, I think their machines are capable according to the price, and if with a little tweaking, just like any other machine, can be a great machine. It's their business practices that I don't agree with fully. It's again like telling me to back a program when you were saying that you're in one of the leading companies.
Yeah, agreed.
Right. Again, the same analogy. If Prusa came out to us and be like, "Hey, I needed to back up my next program," we will be like, "Okay, sure. Are you hard? You need some money, bud? Is everything okay?" That would be our first question. It wouldn't be like, "Wait, you said you were the leader of the industry." We will actually be concerned. With Creality, they made it business. So our first question would be like, I gave you millions and millions over the last years. Why am I giving you money to develop?
Very true. Absolutely. And to be clear, no one gave you money to develop the Ender 3 or the CR series. Nobody. I mean, you gave somebody else money to invent the CR6 and the Ender 7, but that's your business. You know, you're willing to buy other people's designs. You're willing to pay for their R&D. Why do I pay for yours? Why can't Matt get a version of the Hallett that actually, you know, I don't know, something simple like works? Why can't it be updatable?
Don't look up, Matt. You're good.
And he's like, "Wow, yeah, I suppose." And you're like, "Yeah, okay, whatever." Physical copy, not the digital. It's legal. So right, with that, guys, I'm going to have to make a move because I need to try and get some filming done today. So I will.
Get done, get going, man. Thanks for hanging out, guys. I just wanted to hang out.
No worries. Always a pleasure, Yordi. See you later, Vincent. Bye, Matt.
Have a good one, guys.
Yeah, how are y'all?
So, Matt, what are you working on?
Working on a ton of different stuff. I got another piece of armor going on the Photon Max. I have some prototype stuff I got going on the Mini. I just finished a print on this. I'm going to set another print right now. and I'm going to set a print on the Mega in a second here. So,
What kind of armor are you printing?
it looks like samurai armor for a customer. It is
Oh, okay, okay.
it is a commission print. So,
Yeah, I've been tinkering around with my Ender because I had issues with them after 3 years.
yep.
started doing some weird stuff and making some weird noises, and so checked it out in the TL smooth. I forgot that I put in TL smoothers about 2 years ago.
Oh, geez. Time to get rid
And
of those.
took out the TL smoothers, and one of the boards had two blown chips.
Awesome.
They were basically some kind of goo coming out of the chip.
That's fantastic.
So I took them out and I got it printed again. Still
Yeah,
fine
and then
tuning.
I got another print going on the Anycubic Viper. So yeah, we're printing a lot today.
So
Trying to catch up on things that I've been slacking on.
printing the second
Hey,
second
Spring.
ship of Stargate. Started
I
the second ship.
nice. Spring, here, let me show you this one. I have a print going on the M3 Max. It's a large one, so
Okay. So just finished this one.
nice. That came out real good.
Yeah. Took a little time for bed leveling. About a half an hour. I think my mirror is starting to warp after 3 years of usage.
Good possibility.
Yeah, I think so. So and I gotta check out in the near future to buy a second machine because of the projects that I'm got laying around. It takes too long for one machine.
Right.
So yeah, that's what I'm basically been doing. Nah, had a bad week. Washing machine broke again.
Oh no.
Uh, yeah, I think the ball bearing went out. And the funny thing is, the machine is 1 year and 3 days old. So
Of
guess
course.
what?
Just out of warranty.
Exactly. Yeah, and I've been tinkering with my PC. Finally got my new video card in there. Finally got a good video card. So
Yeah.
I'm going to try the
Nice.
video edit this afternoon. Yeah, I've got a 3050.
That's insane.
3050 Asus 3050 RTX
Yep.
OC, so overclockable
Right,
if I
right.
want to. And normally they were around 800, and I got it for 370. So I was lucky.
Nice.
So I finally got a good video card, put in some fans and stuff, and it was shutting itself down all of a sudden every time. When I engage the webcam, it shuts off the whole PC. It basically froze the screen and it stopped working.
Huh.
Couldn't figure it out, and my cousin had the same board and the same processor, only different video card. He's got an AMD video card. And so he
Right.
asked me, "Did you ever update the BIOS?" I thought by myself, "I bought it. No, I never did." I checked it out, and it was about 7 BIOS updates behind.
Whoops.
So updated the BIOS and all the USB drivers, and so far it's running.
Well, that's good.
I did a stress test a couple of days ago on 2 screens with the stress test. The top FPS it can run is about 255, but not with these screens. I need to get 4K screens for that.
Right.
Um, but with these screens, max 120 FPS or something. But I don't game on my screens anyway, so
Gotcha.
it's a good card for the price.
Yeah, absolutely.
I was lucky.
Most people would kill for that card.
Uh, I was searching for a new video card, and I thought to myself, I'm gonna check around. This is the amount that I can spend, and I'm done. And I asked my cousin, and he knows a lot of stuff. Wes, he knows a lot of stuff about these things.
Yep.
And he was searching and searching. First, I want to get a 2080, and he was like, "Look at this one. This one is cheaper, and it's a 3050." Checked it out, and 370 euros for it. Had to wait 3 days before it was here because I ordered it on Friday.
Right.
So, and I thought the card was much bigger than my 970 Auto G Strix. Was the Strix was like this big, and this one is like this small.
Yeah. Uh,
So yeah, I was lucky for that, and I'm gonna check it out how it works today. Starting with another editing program,
Thank you, bro.
Sony Vegas.
Yes, that is a heavy hitting program.
I've never used it.
Yeah, it takes up when you do like the Final Cut
Yeah.
rendering, it takes up a lot.
Okay. Yeah, because
Man,
I've been using uh, YouTube Movie Maker, the original one that you can buy, but I want to blur some stuff and can never find it in YouTube Movie Maker. The only
right,
blurring system I can find in that is do it online in YouTube itself. But then it's like if they ever want to remove your blur, they can do that.
right.
So that's why I want to do it in Vegas Studio. I gotta learn all over again. I'm gonna start today.
Nice.
You ever used Sony?
Yeah, that I used to use Sony all the time with my paintball stuff.
Yep.
And yeah, it like I said, it's a really nice program to cut and slice things in. It does take a little bit getting used to because there's a lot of stuff.
Yep.
Uh, but the biggest part of it is the whole rendering part. That takes forever. Like
Yeah.
I
I've
could
got
shoot
a.
a 2 minute video and it takes half an hour to render it, even on my PC. So
What?
yeah,
Yeah, but are you rendering in what quality?
yeah, that's the other thing. It's rendering in like 4K, I believe.
Yeah, I
So
do it in 1080.
yeah,
A lot of phones cannot handle 4K.
yeah,
And a lot of people nowadays look at videos in 1080. So I film with my cameras in 4K, but I render it back to 1080.
right.
So yeah, I had a lot of videos laying around. I couldn't play it, and I thought to myself, what is the problem with that? And then I remembered, oh, hold on, the settings for my GoPro were in 4K. So put in the new video card and could play everything.
Yep.
I tried it out a couple of days ago on YouTube to set the settings in 8K, doing a test. It will run, but then I get micro bursts on my screens, starting stuttering and doing some weird stuff.
Yep.
But it can handle it. Yeah. So and I got basically I'm printing the second ship of Stargate. So you started yesterday. Been doing a test print with Stargate ring. Look, this is the first one without the TL smoothers. It was digging in. It was digging in the print.
Nice.
And tuned it up a little bit better. And this is what the end result is.
Good. Good.
Second one. So, and now Ray is doing some better slicing work. He's helping me out to slice the ring better because this is basically one piece, and it doesn't fit on my ender. So I took it apart with 3D Builder, and Ray told me, give me the files and I will slice it better so you can mount it better together. because
Nice.
want to print the ring. Cool shirt, by the way. I was looking at it a couple of minutes ago.
Ray's asking, how's the cooling going for your PC?
Oh yeah, Ray had a water cooling system from Cooler Master, and
Nice.
I bought it from him and built it in my PC. Man, it's running great. Never got above 55.
Sweet.
When I did a stress test, it's running max 55. So I'm not complaining here.
That's good.
Yeah, so basically, this is the test print after better bed leveling. I still got some stripes in them, but I think it's a filament itself.
Maybe. That can happen.
Yeah, but it's sturdy. So yeah, that's what I've been doing. And I'm gonna kick my son out of bed in a couple of minutes. I'm going to do some stuff. It's good weather today. I gave him my old PC, and the funny thing, Friday evening, I told him, don't go too bad, too late, because we have to get out of bed tomorrow morning. Yeah, okay. About 10 o'clock, 10 o'clock next day, woke up in the morning. He was like, I said, why do you look so sleepy? What time is it? 10 o'clock. Oh, I never went to bed. And he went to bed about 10 o'clock yesterday morning and he's still asleep.
Or
24 hours. So I'm going to kick him out of his bed in a couple of minutes. So you got still a lot of printers you need to do in the background. Stack
yeah,
is getting high. The stack is getting higher.
well, I got rid of one of them. I think I'm going to give away either one or two because our 3-year anniversary for the group is coming up in May.
Oh, okay.
I think it's about a month away, actually. I think May 19th, if I'm not mistaken.
Are those
So,
those A-nets that you bought?
there's one left, and that might be one of them that I do for a giveaway. So, it's one of the
Yeah.
bigger ones.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I'll have to see which one. I don't know exactly yet. So,
Yeah. So, and of course, I completely turned my room around, fixed everything, made more shelves, cleaned everything out. Yeah, check. Switched everything. And got a second camera up there, but it started working and stopped working yesterday.
it's
Why?
one.
I don't know why.
What's up, Henry? How's it going? It is about 3 a.m. here.
Wow, time for bed.
Yeah. Well, the thing is like I'm still in training, so I'm working nights from 6
Oh,
to
okay.
12-hour shifts. So,
So
any new
try.
resin machines coming? Well, what? Frozen just announced their new printer, which is the Mighty 8K. I just saw a post that said it's a 10-inch printer, or 10-inch screen. So I kind of figured that was going to be the case since the 4K is 9.3. But other than that, there's nothing really else going on for me. I'm still working on the Anycubic M3 Max, which has been pretty good so far. But other than that, BQ's got a new printer that they're coming out with. That one looks kind of actually good for a lot of reasons. It's got a heated bat, looks like air filtration. It's got a flip-up top instead of a lift-off top, so that's really, really good. And in general, it just looks like a nice machine, nice build. So
Yeah, the flip-up tops with the resin printers, they will be awesome.
yeah,
Much more easier, and it saves, I think, a lot of retail space if you do a lot of resin printing.
absolutely.
Now you got to take off the lid, and if you have it in shelves, it's gonna be difficult if you got another story up there.
Yeah. I can neither confirm or deny that I'm getting any printers.
Yeah, so that's what I've been basically been doing. And I still think I have been using Octoprint for 2 weeks now, and I love it.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm finally getting back into the swing of things and printing and getting all my back orders done. I need to start doing some videos. Maybe I'll shoot a video tomorrow for one of the printers, get that up and out of here so we can, get some of those reviews done. Um, great. Let's assume you will. Yeah, sure. We'll just assume. Um, I wonder if the mighty AK will have a flip up lid. I really hope so. Frozen is usually pretty good at being the industry leader with stuff. But I don't. That's not necessarily a huge thing for a lot of people. But when you go to a 10-inch printer, you're getting up there in size. It's definitely a lift off lid is not something I'd like to see on something that size. So I still don't know what the build volume is. They haven't released that yet. So maybe they'll release it tomorrow or the next day. Who knows?
But how do you do that with filling big vats like that? Do you get a can like a gallon of resin, or do you use liter bottles?
Yeah, yeah. Usually you have the liters, um, and you just fill it up, and that's another thing a lot of people are asking for is automatic feeders,
Hmm.
which that's a big thing that's going around lately. In fact, talking about the BQ, I believe that's one of the features on it that I might have seen. I'm not 100% sure if it was that printer that I saw or somebody else's, um, but that is something that the community wants, and rightfully so, because on a 10-inch printer, you would probably need a vat that needs like 2,000 milliliters or 2 kilograms of resin to print
Yeah,
pretty much anything you need on that build
yeah,
plate. So
yeah.
either one of two things have to happen: a larger, deeper vat or an auto feed system. So
That's one thing I had with resin very quickly when I started with this one. If you do bigger prints, you cannot let it run overnight if you don't know um, how much resin it can use. With FDM, it's much more easier that there's so much on the spool or there's so much weight on the spool, and with resin, it's a little bit more difficult.
right.
So if you go to bed and you leave the print running, the fat will get dry. Happen.
Yep. And that's one of the cool things about this Anycubic M3 Max is it has an auto loading system, which that's what the Mega desperately needs. But that's kind of hard to implement now that it's already said and done. But
So an auto loading system, so it will stop printing, or it gives fill resin when it's printing.
yeah, no. So this fills it like every 30 minutes, I think it is, or every 20 minutes,
Okay.
and it
Uh,
basically continues to fill every single time that it hits that 20-minute marker or whatever you have it set at. Um, and it just kind of goes off and refills up to a certain point, and then it'll
okay.
shut off, and then 20 minutes or 30 minutes down the line, it'll do it again. So
Oh, that's way better.
Eventually, their new printer will have resin sensor like the SL1s. Gotcha.
Yeah, especially if you start printing resin with big prints like face masks and stuff. Uh, yeah, you need something like a sensor when your vet is getting a little bit dry.
Yep.
So you're gonna get less failures because that's gonna be price wise pretty costly every time. Oh, the vet is empty. Ah, I forgot to fill it. And there's also a thing when you wanna uh, fill up the vet when it's printing. You have to be careful that you don't put a lot of air bubbles in it.
Right.
That's what I figured out very quickly.
Yep.
You cannot chuck it in like, oh, I'm going to fill it up when it's printing.
Exactly. Well,
But
I'm starting to fall asleep here, so
yeah,
I think
I can see that. Yeah, I can see that.
yeah. So I think I'll try and go to sleep. We'll see if that'll happen. But I thank you for stopping in for the little bit that you did. So
No problem.
and for everybody else, I thank you all for stopping on in and enjoying the show. Until next time, guys.